I'm going to break some news on this channel.
Okay.
I heard from a source close to the situation who let me, only one source though, that the 49ers were inquiring about trading for Hunter Renfrow.
Wow.
Hunter Renfrow. Now, you know, he seems to be on the trade block, and because the Patriots, the Raiders signed former Patriots wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who's kind of a slot receiver also. Mm-hmm. So people saying Hunter Renfrow, I'm not saying the Niners are going to trade for him, but from what I heard, due diligence was done.
Hunter Renfrow is underrated, man. He might be one of the top 5 route runners in it.
Why are the Niners in the market for a slot receiver though? That's what gets me. So now we got Boogie Knight, we got Hunter Renfrow. There was a report earlier in the offseason that teams want to trade for Brandon Ayuk, but the Niners don't want to give him up. But here they are looking for other, not Brandon Ayuk guys, but route running technicians, guys who can do some of what basically Hunter Renfrow can do everything Brandon Ayuk can do except the stuff down the field. Just saying. And the Niners do have Danny Gray.
And you know what else you got, Grant, is you have 2 guys that are pretty much slot receivers, but that's not their position. But Debo and CMC are also basically their best talent as a slot receiver, in my opinion. So it's curious to see how they're going to distribute the ball with all these guys. If they pick up another guy, I wonder who they plan on dealing for him. Are they talking draft picks or a player?
Hey man, this was telephone. I was talking to basically. I can't even give away too much, but I was talking to a colleague, and he was like, "Hey man, just want to let you know, I heard this, and you should know. So thank you very much." And it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it means that the Niners. What he heard was that the Niners were at least calling and at least finding out, what's it going to take? What's the price? So I didn't know the Niners were in the market for a slot receiver. Apparently they are. Is that what they view Brandon Ayuk? Because if you think about it, they drafted Brandon Ayuk to be the split end, but he runs a 4.5. Debo's faster than he's a really good receiver, but he's not prime Odell Beckham. He's not that guy who has that burst to take the top off the defense and run that 4.4. He's not. Now he'll get you chunk plays. He's a hell of a receiver, but is that maybe the Niners thought he'd be something different? And maybe what their main issue with him is that he's not as fast. He's not super explosive off the line of scrimmage. He's not a super deep threat. Maybe they look at him look, we'll just get Hunter Renfrow, use him the same way, and we'll get Danny Gray to clear to run the clear out routes. I don't know.
Well, here's my take on it.
Yeah,
it could be a little different. Let me know, but they wanted Debo supposed to be wide receiver 1. Is he a wide receiver 1? No, he's not. No, he's really not. No,
he's not a route runner.
So
he's not a route runner.
Brandon had to play that role, and I've been saying this for several months now throughout this season. It seems like 49ers have one wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a Debo thing. I mean, at some point, they're going to have to pay either Brandon Ayuk and Debo. I don't know. Maybe they're trading Debo next year.
Jesse Naylor says Boogie will be the eventual Debo replacement is my guess, running back in high school.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah, Niners love wide receivers who used to be running backs for sure.
For sure.
That's not Hunter Renfrow, though. Hunter Renfrow is much more on the Brandon Ayuk. I think of Hunter Renfrow as Brandon Ayuk with 4.6 speed instead of 4.5 speed.
49ers want wide receivers that play running back. They don't want actual wide receivers, unfortunately.
But they do need at least one dude who can run a route on the freaking team who runs faster than 4.7.
They can't get rid of Ayuk. I don't understand how they can get rid of Ayuk unless they replace him with another traditional wide receiver because they don't have one on the team.
If they trade Ayuk for a first-round pick, draft a right tackle, and trade for Hunter Renfrow, is that good? It's very dangerous. Hunter Renfrow isn't Brandon Ayuk, and God knows what you're getting with that right tackle in round 1. I mean, last time the Niners drafted a right tackle in round 1, they got Mike McGlinchey, and that was with the 9th pick. God knows who they might take with 5th pick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know. Scary. But I wanted to break that news. I did hear that. I was like, you know what? I won't say it. But now I was like, you know what? Yeah, I heard. The Niners are interested in Hunt Renfrow. Doesn't mean they're going to get him.
Yeah.
But what does it mean that they're kicking the tire? Now that's 2 slot receivers that they're looking at. Slots. Does that mean that Juwan Jennings is not coming? I might mean that, huh? Let's look. It's a year ahead, right? The Niners red shirt. So Juwan Jennings, is he signed long term? Hold on.
He signed a year.
Juwan
I think they did the 1-year option on him. So he's
So
he's got 1 more year.
Yeah. So he's got 1 more year, which means he's probably going to be on another team next year.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So the Niners are thinking a year ahead. Looking at that slot receiver position, Juwan Jennings probably going to get paid like Kendrick Bourne did because he catches a lot of touchdowns for this. I mean, he catches important passes for this team. So,
And do you really think Ayuk and Debo will both be on the team next year? Not this coming year, but the year after that? Do you think they can really do both?
I mean, I don't think they should do both. You can't keep extending all your wide receivers and running backs.
Yeah.
Look at the Chiefs. They spend on offensive line and quarterback. The Niners spend on running back and wide receiver. Like, that's backward. I'm sorry. Those are the positions where you can get instant contributors in the draft every year.
Yeah.
Every year they're like, man, there's 15 wide receivers who are all pro caliber coming out. Like, all the best athletes play wide receiver, and all the rules cater to them. You can't touch them. You can't look at them. You can't talk to them. You can't breathe on them. I mean, all that stuff in the NFL.
And maybe they have plans for Danny Gray and Tay Martin. Maybe I know they were scouting a couple wide receivers in the draft too. So
yeah, like a lot of times the Niners will just redshirt a player for a year, and people think, well, that guy must suck, or the Niners must be really down on him. Yeah. That's what we thought about Aaron Banks, and we were wrong. So let's see what maybe the Niners have a whole plan for Danny Gray. Sitting him for a year was part of it, and they feel like, you know what, if we Danny Gray and Hunter Renfrow can give us everything we wanted in Brandon Ayuk and more. Maybe they're wrong, but maybe they're thinking that way. I have no idea. So we'll have to see.
Depending on who your quarterback is, if it's Trey Lance, you need a Danny Gray. Otherwise, you're wasting his arm, right? So if it's Trey Lance as your quarterback, you need a Danny Gray.